Can I ask everyone to please take their seats? Good morning. Honored guests, neighbors, and friends, welcome to the City of Murrieta Memorial Day ceremony. I am Dr. Lisa DeForest, your mayor. Today, I am honored to speak on behalf of the entire City Council, Mayor Pro Tem Stone, Councilmember Holliday, Councilmember Lavelle, and Councilmember Warren, who are all here today. It has been a beautiful weekend, and it is a beautiful day. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us this morning. And furthermore, I would like to thank the city staff for once again providing our community such a fitting venue to deliver on our promise to never forget, our promise to always remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice, those who gave their lives to secure our nation's freedom, the freedom we enjoy every day. We gather today to pay tribute to those brave men and women and reflect upon the enormity of their sacrifice. Now I would like to invite Vista Murrieta High School Air Force JROTC to present our colors. Would you please stand?
Colors reverse. March. Color guard. Hold. Present. Colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Colors turn. March.
If you could remain standing. Thank you for singing our national anthem in such a beautiful way. Michaela Sanborn, Luann Eliaba, Gracie Sanborn. I'd like to now, thank you. Yes, perfect. Beautiful. I'd like to invite for our invocation, Chaplain Reginald Waddington.
Let's all bow our heads and pray. Dear God, today as we gather here this morning in the great city of Murrieta, We are here to honor the loyalty and bravery of our fallen in this noble calling, military service. I am honored as a Navy Corpsman veteran who served with the Fleet Marine Force to remind all present here today that it is our responsibility as citizens to remember the nation's brave fallen men and women, whether they died on foreign lands in the heat of battle or after a lifetime in the uniform of our military. Never forget the men and women who know all too well the cost of our freedom, for their service to this country is the greatest gift of all. So we thank you for the freedom you have given us, and for the price that was paid by the men and women of our armed services so that we could live free. We honor, mourn, and remember them today, the cost of it all, the great sacrifice for freedom. We also thank you for those who have fought and continue to fight so courageously for our nation. We ask that you cover and bless them and their families. We pray that you will be gracious and encircle them with your peace. We pray for your great favor and goodness to be evident in their lives. Please be with those who wear the uniform and who serve our communities and nations every single day. We ask that you provide your protection, that you will be their guiding force who leads the way, and their rear guard who keeps them safe from behind. We ask that you draw them to yourself amidst the dangers they face in a dark world, for you are the truth, you are the way, you are the light. In your precious Son's name, Jesus, we pray. Amen. You may be seated.
Today, we gather here to honor and remember the brave souls who pay the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. Memorial Day is a solemn occasion, a time for reflection, gratitude for those who have given their lives to protect the freedom we hold dear. On this day, we come together as a nation to pay homage to the heroes who have selfishly laid down their lives for the ideas and principles that define our great nation. These men and women from all walks of life have made the ultimate sacrifice to defend our liberty, preserve our democracy, and safeguard the future for generations to come. Memorial Day is not just about remembering the fallen, but also recognize the profound impact they have had on our lives. The sacrifice serves as a reminder that freedom is not free. It is bought at a high price, with blood, with sweat and tears of those who have gone before us. Let us remember the mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters who have left their families behind to answer the call of duty. They embraced a noble cause of safeguarding our nation, knowing that they may not return to the warm embrace of their loved ones. It is their bravery and unwavering commitment that we honor here today. Today, as we visit cemeteries, we lay wreaths and flags fly at half-mast. We also let it renew our commitment to the values that our fallen heroes have fought for. Let us strive to be a nation that upholds the principles of justice, equality, and freedom for all. Let us appreciate the sacrifices made by our servicemen and women by ensuring their legacy is not forgotten. It is incumbent upon each and every one of us to carry forward the torch of their memory, to live our lives in a manner that honors their sacrifice. We can do this by supporting our veterans, their families, and those currently serving in the armed forces. We can do this by participating in civic duties and working towards a society that embodies the ideal of the fallen heroes fought for. Could I have our veterans please stand so we can show our appreciation and support to all of you? Thank you. As we pause to remember, let us also extend our gratitude to the families left behind. Their resilience and the strength in the face of loss inspires us all. They too bear the weight of sacrifice and deserve our unwavering support. On this Memorial Day, let us unite as a nation in remembrance, gratitude, and, most of all, hope. May we never forget the fallen. May we strive to be a nation worthy of their sacrifice, today and every day. Let us honor their memory by cherishing the freedoms they have secured for all of us. Thank you, and may God bless the fallen heroes, their families, and God bless the United States of America. I now have the honor to introduce our keynote speaker and reading a brief bio of his service to our country, which is 3 pages long.
Please.
Our keynote speaker today is Sergeant Major Vaughn. He was born and raised in Illinois and enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in '82. He reported to boot camp as a Marine Corps recruit at the depot in San Diego. He graduated from boot camp as a squad leader and was promoted to private first class. He attended a school for infantry at Camp Pendleton. He was selected as Marine of the Year in 1983 and then was honorably promoted to corporal. In 1984, he reported to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, where he joined the 3rd Battalion, 4th Marine. There he served as team leader on a winning squad for the annual Marine Rifles Squad competition and was then deservingly promoted to sergeant. In 1985, he was deployed to the Western Pacific 13th MEU and again competed in the annual Rifle Squad competition where he served as the squad leader of the winning squad. During Operation Desert Sand and Desert Shield, he was personally selected by the commanding general, 1st Marine Division, to serve as his driver and personal security detail. In November of '93, he reported to Drill Instructor School, San Diego. Upon graduating, he reported to 1st Recruit Training Battalion and served as drill instructor, senior drill instructor, senior chief drill instructor, and during this time, he was honorably promoted to gunnery sergeant. In '98, he was promoted to first sergeant and then reported to the 1st Light Armor Reconnaissance Battalion, and immediately he was deployed. In 2002, he was promoted to sergeant major and reported to Helicopter Marine Medium Squadron 161 at Miramar, where he served as squadron sergeant. He deployed to Iraq in the initial phase of Operation Iraqi Freedom in March of '03. For his service in Iraq, he was awarded the Air Combat Medal. Sergeant Major Vaughn is married to Karen Vaughn and has 3 children. He has so many personal awards, but he has a Meritorious Service Award, Navy Commanding Medals with 2 Gold Stars, a Combat V, Navy Achievement Medal with Gold Star, Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal, Good Conduct Medal with Silver Star, Combat Action Ribbon, 2 Gold Annual Rifle Squad Competition Badges. He retired from the Marine Corps after 22 years of honorable service. It is my honor to welcome to the podium Sergeant Major Vaughn.
Well, good morning. I'm put on the spot here because I have a lot of my peers sitting out there that I served with on active duty, fellow sergeant majors, first sergeants, some of the Marines. So, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, veterans, Gold Star families, and fellow Americans. As a 15-year resident in Murrieta and over 30 years residing in this valley, I want to thank the mayor, council members, our city supervisor and service providers for maintaining the city of Murrieta as one of the most desired cities in Southern California for military personnel to reside in, raise our children, and ultimately retire in. I thank every one of you for your dedication and continued service to our community. I want to personally express my gratitude to those Murrieta PD officers who arrive at least quarterly at my home off Viota Court due to my security system, false alarm, and failures. I thank you. Memorial Day, originally known as Decoration Day, was established to commemorate and honor the military personnel who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. The exact origin of Memorial Day are debated, with several communities and states claiming to be the birthplace of the holiday. However, the official establishment of Memorial Day as a national holiday is credited to General John A. Logan. General Logan was a national commander of the Grand Army of the Republic, a veterans organization for Union Civil War veterans. On May 5th, 1868, General Logan issued General Order Number 11, which designated May 30th of that year a day of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of our country during the late rebellion. This order later laid the foundation for what would become Memorial Day. The first official Memorial Day was observed on May 30th, 1868. On that day, flowers were placed on the graves of Union and Confederate soldiers at Arlington National Cemetery. Over time, Memorial Day expanded to honor all military personnel who died in service of the United States. Today, on this solemn occasion of Memorial Day, I am honored to be your guest speaker as we gather to pay tribute and remember the heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice defending our freedom. I ask myself, why was I asked to have this honor to memorialize these heroes? Whatever the reason, I'm truly humbled. Whatever the reason, our military members offer their lives for their country, and too many pay that price. But I am only standing here today to honor them because I was one of the lucky ones who came home. Why do such a small percentage of our country's citizens put their lives on the line by joining the military? This choice is a personal and complex one, but here are some of the reasons I have observed. Patriotism and love of country. Many young men and women are motivated by a strong sense of patriotism and desire to serve and protect this country. Sense of duty and service. Some feel a strong sense of duty and calling to something greater than themselves. A sense of brotherhood and sisterhood. The military fosters a strong sense of camaraderie amongst its members. Many to the close-knit bonds that form within military units, where trust, mutual support, and teamwork are critical. Some seek a home they may not have otherwise. Unity is a deeply personal choice that reflects their values and aspirations. Their commitment comes with a harsh reality that they may require to make the ultimate sacrifice in giving their life for their country, yet they continue to enlist. The willingness to offer their very lives is often a mystery to civilians. What motivates one to make this such extraordinary sacrifice? My experiences on the battlefield are some of these. Devotion to our brothers and sisters in arms. The close camaraderie forges deep bonds. We develop a profound sense of loyalty, trust, and responsibility towards one another. The strong bonds create a willingness to make personal sacrifices for the well-being and safety of our brothers, sisters, to the one fighting to our left and right. A sense of duty and sacrifice. We have a deep-seated sense of duty to our unit, our country, and to the mission and purpose of our service. We willingly put ourselves in harm's way, recognizing that our sacrifice contributes to the greater good and the safety and freedom of others, especially that of our own families. We understand the gravity of our role and are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice if necessary. Duty of leadership. Effective leadership plays a critical role in motivating us to fight and sacrifice for one another. Strong leaders create a climate of mutual respect and instill a sense of purpose and unity amongst our brothers and sisters. We as leaders have a commitment and a responsibility to take these young men and women, place them in our care, train them to be one of the most feared forces on the battlefield, and then return them home safely to their families. It's our and my deep sorrow at the loss of anyone in our charge and is magnified by the crushing guilt of any breach of this commitment. As we continue to lose hundreds of our nation's military heroes each day, today I would like to focus my tribute to those who fought in what was called the Forgotten War, Korea. Among the many battles fought during this war, one has stood out as a testament to the indomitable spirit and unwavering determination of our military men who fought at the Battle of the Chosin Reservoir, the Chosen Few, as they would become known. In November of 1950, thousands of United States troops under the leadership of Major General Oliver P. Smith found themselves facing a relentless enemy at the Chosin Reservoir. The harsh conditions made survival a daily struggle. With temperatures plummeting to minus 40 degrees and treacherous terrain hindering every move, frostbite was rampant. Medical supplies just froze. Weapons were malfunctioning. Over 120,000 Chinese troops surrounded 30,000 UN troops, the bulk of which were the United States Marines. And a brutal 17-day battle followed. They were bound together by a dedication to their mission, their comrades, and their country. The Battle of the Chosin Reservoir became a turning point in the Korean War, not only for its strategic significance, but also for the extraordinary acts of heroism witnessed there. Our brave troops fought against overwhelming odds. In the end, casualties numbered approximately 1/3 of the UN forces and 1/2 of the Chinese forces. Many lost their lives in the battle, many more just to the frigid cold. 14 Marines, 2 soldiers, and 1 Navy pilot received the Medal of Honor in this 17-day battle. The story of the Battle of the Chosin Reservoir is one of sacrifice, camaraderie, and resilience. It's a testament to the unwavering spirits of our armed forces, who time and time again have demonstrated their willingness to give their all in defense of our nation. As they fought for the men to their left and the men to their right, their brothers, today I would like to remember those heroes. We remember their sacrifice, their value, and their unwavering commitment to duty. We remember the families they left behind, the void they left in the hearts of their loved ones. It's my true honor today to share a story of one of these heroes. He was a bright, shy young man playing football at Orange Coast College in 1948. To his unknown, he would soon be faced with the experiences that would shape the course of the rest of his life. Following the completion of his first year of college, he returned home to an unwelcoming stepfather who refused him to allow to stay in the home anymore. Already a member of the U.S. Navy Air Reserve, based in Los Alamitos Naval Station, he decided he would join the Navy on active duty to provide for his own support. Before he could complete his enlistment papers, however, he accompanied his high school friend to take a walk over to the Marine recruiter. Probably the biggest mistake of his life, maybe. The recruiter was a sports fan and convinced him to enlist and play football for the recruit depot. I don't think we ever had a football team in the recruit depot, but darn on those recruiters. The love for football and a solution to needing a place to live, he was not paying attention to the world events. Just in a few short months later, instead of playing football for the Marines, he found himself on a ship bound for Korea. His tough childhood left him with low self-esteem, but boot camp at Camp Pendleton changed that. The drill instructors continued to tear him down just to build him back up, as is the Marine Corps way, which instilled his first feelings of self-worth, unity, and family. While in Korea, Glenn described many harrowing experiences of war. He recounted several close calls that nearly took his life. He suffered an infected toe, which required his evacuation to medical aid, with his unwillingness not to do so. The Marine that took his place was killed that same night. He later climbed a hill during a fierce battle and awoke again in front of an aid station with no recollection of how he got there. To this day, no one knows how he was injured or spared, only that he appeared at that aid station with a concussion and no memory of the event. By sheer luck or by sheer divine intervention, he survived all these close calls. Others were not as lucky. Robert Red Hansen was Glenn's friend since the 4th grade. They saw one another briefly before combat. Red had married just before leaving for Korea, but he was never to return home. He is buried in a mass grave there. Dave Carrolls and Tommy Hamilton, friends from high school, were also killed. Jerry Hick, another high school buddy, took a bullet to the knee. By the time he could be evacuated, his leg had frozen and had to be amputated. Wesley Rankin was Glenn's only high school friend who returned home safely. Of Baker Company, his company, 200 Marines, only 18 survived. In August of 1951, Glenn finally received orders to return to the U.S. As his ship sailed underneath the Golden State Bridge, he vowed never to leave the United States again. He felt that he had been brought back from hell to live again. When he returned home, he was astonished to find that Americans were going about their lives as if nothing had happened in Korea. The general public did not realize the hell that our troops had endured and were still enduring. At this time, if you would help me, I would like to recognize to you this American hero, who is also a 32-year Murrieta resident, and he's joining us here today. Soon to be 93 years old, Sergeant Glenn Butter, United States Marine Corps, Korean War veteran, and Purple Heart recipient, and my brother. Glenn, would you please stand to be recognized? Glenn, we thank you. We truly do. The city thanks you, and thanks for all the contributions that you and your family has provided for this city. We thank you. We also want to recognize the spouses of our veterans who fought their own wars, but never received recognition or medals. Just before shipping to Korea, Glenn asked his sweetheart Pearl, known as Pete, who he had known since the 7th grade. And he asked her if she wanted to attend a wedding with him after the war. She asked, "Whose wedding?" To which he replied, "Ours." And she said yes. He fulfilled this promise and married Pete 2 weeks after he returned from Korea on September 27th, 1950, at the courthouse in Compton, California. Glenn credits Pete with the love and understanding for helping him to overcome moodiness during his emotional adjustments from combat. Today we call this PTSD. They have been married 73 years. Pearl Butler, I ask you to stand to help us honor our spouses and our Gold Star families. And why did I ask her to stand? To honor Glenn's buddies that he lost in combat. He fulfilled his promise and married Pete, and they, in return, had 5 children. Because of Glenn's sacrifice and the sacrifice of men he served with, because of the men that served in all American wars, we live in peace. Glenn's life following the war was peaceful. He and Pearl's happily marriage, their 5 children, brought him fulfillment. He was able to enjoy the freedom that was so hard won. And this is just a story of one of the lucky ones. And us standing out here all have similar stories because we're all the lucky ones. But Memorial Day is about honoring not those lucky ones enough to have came home as we did, but as we gather here today, let us take a moment to reflect on the significance of those that gave the ultimate sacrifice. Let us remember that freedoms we enjoy are not granted, but earned through the blood, sweat, and tears of those who came before us. Let us never forget the price paid for our liberty. In their memory, let us renew our commitment to upholding the values for which they fought and died. Let us strive for unity, for it is unity that we find strength. I am asked, how can we continue to honor these American heroes? I suggest in these ways. Display your American flag with pride. Offer a handshake and gratitude to those that have served. Learn and teach your children our military history. Support military organization and never pass up the opportunity to visit a national cemetery showing your respect. I want to thank everyone for your dedication alone by attending this solemn occasion of Memorial Day here with us today. As we depart, please join me in expressing our gratitude to all those that are here today that have served and continue to serve this great nation of ours. I ask all of you in close, I invite you to join me in a prayer. Almighty God, this morning we pause to remember, reflect, and remind ourselves of the service of those who made the ultimate sacrifice, of those who have fought and died in the forgotten war more than 70 years ago. Memories and moments return in an instant, and in these memories and these moments, the good ones, but mostly the hard ones, that we honor today. We pay special tribute to all those that did not make it home. We specifically remember Red, Dave, and Tommy. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, spouses and children who received that dreaded knock at the door, telling them that the one they loved and prayed for every night would not be coming home. Throughout the years, there has been many empty seats at the table for every birthday, holiday, anniversary, and our heartfelt condolences can never adequately repay them for the sacrifices they have made. These men and women and their loved ones are an honored part of our country's history. Please grant the survivors your peace and grant that we may carry on their legacy for all those and all that we say and all that we do. Amen. I thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Major Bryant Vaughn, for those amazing words today. How fortunate are we to live in a nation where liberty is celebrated and freedom forms the apex of our values. How fortunate are we to live in a nation where there has always been men and women like Sergeant Major Bryant Vaughn who understood our nation's need and with honor answered the call of duty. Today, we also recognize another special piece of Murrieta's history, our Veterans Memorial Committee plaque. On the plaque, it reads, "The City of Murrieta is grateful for and humbly acknowledges the dedication, enthusiasm of all the volunteer hours provided by the Murrieta Veterans Memorial Committee, in particular, Marine Corps League 1057, for their assistance in designing the city's Veterans Memorial. I would like to take a moment to recognize any veterans in attendance with the Marine Corps League 1057. Please stand. Thank you. Specifically, I would like to recognize retired Colonel Mr. Don Crampy. Don, on behalf of the City of Murrieta, we'd like to say thank you for your service and dedication to the committee. I invite Don and the other veterans with 1057 to please join us at the plaque to take a photo at the end of today's event. On behalf of my entire City Council, the entire City of Murrieta, we thank you for being here this morning. And may we never forget, freedom is not free. Thank you so much for attending this morning.